message from K Street to Main Street, USA, the message that people should be free to act as long as they don't initiate force against others. So we bought an RV. We got Adam Miller looped in, and we're traveling around the country, meeting with freedom-oriented people that reject government violence in favor of a voluntary society. And it's basically a real-time documentary. We videotape people, share their stories, hope that, to motivate other people. Hopefully they can learn from each other. So we had just come from New Orleans, where we had a really good meetup with a lot of liberty-oriented people. And then we were driving to Nashville, Tennessee for a meetup there, and along the way we got pulled over. So basically we were peaceful travelers, and I was pretty cooperative with Officer Atkins, who pulled me over. After they put Adam in the back of the car, another officer arrived, and they asked Jason to produce identification, and because he was a passenger, he didn't feel the need to do so, but he politely declined. They asked him 3 times, and then they asked him to put his hands on the RV, and he did not do so. They put Jason in a chokehold and pepper sprayed him and tackled him and took him to the ground, and then arrested him. So then they brought a canine officer, and they kept asking me if we had any drugs or anything like that, and I said, I've already answered these questions. Are we free to go? Are we free to go? And they eventually, the canine officer threatened me with, he said, I'm going to get the ATF involved. You're going to face some time, like 10 years in federal prison for transporting firearms. And I said, hey, I believe I'm operating inside the law, and if I'm not, maybe that law needs to be changed. But he asked me, you can tell me if there's drugs. Maybe they're not yours. Maybe they're these other guys. But he ended up bringing the dog around. I did not consent to a search, so he brought the dog around. He said the dog was triggered. And I said, well, I know, in some instances dogs can be trained to be triggered by their handlers. And he got up in my face and said, are you calling me a liar? You call my dog a liar? But they ended up searching the RV externally and internally and basically ripping it apart without a warrant. And then I was brought to the jail as well, where Adam and Jason already were. So we were kept in a cage there for about 10 hours. We got pulled over at about 9:30 in the morning.
Was one of you sprayed with mace in your eyes?
Yeah, Jason was. That's correct.
All right. My producer, George Zooks, called the sheriff's department and asked them to participate in the show, and of course they wouldn't. Asked them for a statement, which they said they would send, which never came. But, Jason, I think you found some absurd statement in a local newspaper from this sheriff, probably in anticipation of the litigation that I hope you guys will file. But did they ever say anything publicly about why they stopped you, why they arrested you, why they threatened you with dogs, why they sprayed you with mace, why they ripped apart the RV, just because you had an out-of-state license tag on your vehicle?
Well, Judge, we're hoping that maybe you could represent us in court, but we can talk about that later. But the officer, the sheriff there, Jones County, he said that we had no idea what their plans were. And this is a statement that he gave to the local newspaper as justification for why they, like Pete said, pepper sprayed me, choked me, tackled me, confiscated our camera. Something Pete didn't mention was that they had our camera. They told us that we would get it back on our court date, but then when we went into our RV, which was completely ransacked and things were broken inside, the camera was there. The footage that Adam took, about 5 minutes worth, it's deleted.
Was there obvious evidence inside the vehicle that you guys are libertarians, civil libertarians, freedom-loving people, Ron Paul supporters of the Free State in New Hampshire? Was that obvious to these cops as they and their dogs were ripping your RV apart?
Well, here's the interesting thing. We always had plans to modify our RV. Actually, we painted it just yesterday, and so now it looks like a libertarian mobile. But at the time, it looked like a bunch of members of AARP could be driving around the country. I mean, we're young people, and some people say that we might have been profiled because we were young people driving in this RV. But when they walked inside illegally, without a warrant, of course, one of the officers saw some of our stickers because we were recently sponsored by LibertyStickers.com.
Wow.
And, I mean, the entire inside is saturated with pro-freedom stickers, a lot of Ron Paul stuff. And so he's like, oh, I know what kind of guys you are.
What kind of guys you are. We have a lot of listeners and viewers who've been sending their tweets in. Of course, you're aware of the support that has come to you from all across the country, but my colleague, Shelley Roche has some tweets, some emails for the two of you.
The biggest question I'm getting is, both for the judge and for the Motorhomes Diaries crew, how do we know what our rights are in this situation? What should we do? What are we obligated to tell to the police if they pull us over? And then, what happens next? I'm
going to give you just a little bit of advice, and your timing was bad. You should have gotten arrested a week later. I'm kidding, because a week after this incident, the Supreme Court of the United States came down with an opinion called Arizona versus Gant, G-A-N-T, which said that the police cannot inspect a vehicle or the contents of the vehicle on the basis of a motor vehicle stop. Now, that's already the law in some states on the basis of state law and the state constitution, but obviously not in Mississippi. It is now the law of the land. You will be able to use that case when and if, and I hope you do, we'll talk about it off air, of course, sue these guys in a federal court, but it now is absolutely unlawful for them even to ask to go inside the motor vehicle without probable cause of crime, something they see with their own eyes. Anything else you want to tell us before we wrap up, Pete?
Yeah, this is Pete again. I'd just like to echo what Shelley said about the support we had. Right before Jason got arrested, he was able to take a picture, send out a tweet, and that was the last communication we had with the outside folks for about 12 hours. And the support we received was just amazing. It really showed the strength of the freedom movement. We had some people step up, and we raised a few grand in just a couple hours to post our bond and get our RV out of there. So, and the phone calls, we got 300 to 500 phone calls, they're saying, to the jail, the sheriff's office, attorney general, and governor. So, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to all y'all, and hopefully this helps inspire other people to stand up for their rights, knowing that this community is there.
We just want to get you to respond to one more tweet, and you probably should know we have motordiaries.com up on the screen. I assume Motorhome. Well, what is the email? What is the website for people that want to follow the progress of this case and support you?
Motorhomediaries.com is our main website, but if they go to motorhomediaries.com/Jones County, we are keeping track of what's happening because we feel, I mean, we're lucky, right? We know our rights, and we stood up for them. But motorists all the time in Jones County are getting harassed, whether they're out-of-towners like us or the residents. So we're going to be back in their community. We've decided that we're going to spend a week there, and we're going to do some live video talking to the residents there, people who have had problems with the sheriff's department, and just and also show the good sides about the Jones County community. Well, there's some great people there. They just have a really bad sheriff.
The camera is the new gun today, and it's absolutely lawful in Mississippi and in any state of the union to film the police when they're in public and just keep those cameras rolling. Shelley has one more tweet for you. And then we're off air until next week, and I hope you guys will come back.
Yeah, so now a lot of people are asking what's next for you, and you kind of talked about that you're going to be spending some time back there and educating people, and I think that's what I'm getting a lot of feedback about, what happens next, what do we do in this situation, and just to make sure that you document what you're doing and share that with your network of people.
I think you should knock on the doors of the homes of the police that tormented you, and have the cameras rolling and just shake their hands and say, hey, why did you do this to me? Everybody would want to see those tapes. Jason Talley, Pete Eyre, thanks very much for joining us. Good luck. Stay in touch with us. You know how to reach me through my producer, and we have a lot more to talk about off air.
Thanks, Judge. We'll do.
Thank you, guys. That's it for Freedom Watch. Do we have the great Eric Bolling here? Is he ready to take this camera and to take this chair from me? No, he's not here. All right, you're going to have to wait for him. Until next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock in the West, stay free.